Welcome to How Preschool Teachers Do It.
This is Alison Kentos. I am an early childhood educator.
And this is Cindy Tarabush. I am an early childhood consultant.
This podcast is for parents and early childhood professionals.
Let our experience and research-based knowledge become your guide.
Hi, preschool peeps.
Hi, peeps.
So, look, I can't even figure out how to start this episode. I just
Practiced it, and I said it was good. I said go with it.
Yeah. Okay. So here it is. I've got it again.
Okay,
Ready?
Okay.
All right. This is how you know we're just really recording and not editing ourselves.
Real people. Yeah.
All right. So we have several episodes. And I have also written about the fact that we should not have public displays of behavior, like star charts for every child that everyone can see, because of the social emotional impact on children who struggle with that sort of development, because that we don't display other ways in which children are struggling versus other children. I'm not trying to put comparisons of children with like things like their artwork and all up on the wall all the time. We do hang their artwork, but it's not for comparison purposes like this. And when we hang up behavior charts, it is for comparison purposes because we want children to notice. And I'm gratified to say that I have been in several classrooms recently and not seen any of those behavior charts. However, I am aware, and Allison is aware because she received this advice, that there are still people advising that we should be putting up behavior star charts or whatever you want to call them in the classrooms so that everyone can see them. And Allison shared with me that she was given this advice by someone. And I was like, no, why are they advising that? That's an outdated understanding of how to use acknowledgements of behavior. It should be private. You can still give out
your stickers or your smiley faces or whatever, but privately, like maybe there's something you send home, something you keep in your desk, or something in a folder, or in a folder. Still do that, or but like even when the person told me that, I was like, that was my reaction. Like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, I'll do like doing that the whole class. Oh,
my question to Allison was, why in 2024, when this is going to air, right? We're still within the same year. Why are people advising this? Is it because they think it's good for the children, or is it because it will stamp out behavior in the short term? Maybe. It's even debatable whether it's going to do that. Which brought us to, is what we do, or are the things we do, more about compliance or social emotional development? Because I think we're here to encourage positive social emotional development and a good self-concept in all children. Self-concept is how you feel about yourself. So when I have a display up that shows everybody else has 5 stars and I've earned 1, that is not teaching the social emotional ability to feel good about myself.
Correct.
At whatever level I'm at and whoever I am.
It makes you feel like you are less than everybody else.
And is compliance in a group setting then in fact becoming more important than what everyone talks about is important? Everybody, folks, when you say, what are some of the primary things you want to teach young children? Everybody says social emotional development. Social emotional development is always, I think it's safe to say, the first standard, the first group of objectives, the first category when we look in state standards, when we look at tools like Teaching Strategies Gold or High Scopes Core Advantage. Social emotional, those are the first goals on the list.
Yes, because it's the foundation of the rest of learning.
Right.
You can't
do any of the rest of it.
if you don't have that baseline, that foundation.
But if our methods aim toward compliance, either at home or at school, it doesn't even matter where.
Home too.
If our methods I'm not saying don't teach them to behave in certain ways.
Correct.
I'm saying
Yes.
if our methods focus on compliance, can we still do the social emotional piece?
No. I want to compliance to be like children lining up like in little soldier like ways, and like that's not childhood. Like you comply with me or else kind of thing, and that's not the way it should be.
We have rules.
Yes, rules.
We have rules and boundaries, right? We have rules, and I would like you to learn to comply with the rules.
Comply with the rules?
Yes, I would like you to operate within the rules.
Within the boundaries.
Yes.
Yes.
So therefore children are complying with the rules. Right?
I'm not sure if complying is
that
the right term?
I think it is.
You think so? Okay.
Within getting children to comply with the rules, we have to do things that are still positive in regard to their social emotional development. If you were told you need to hang up behavior charts for everyone in this classroom, or here's a piece of advice for you, hang up behavior charts for everyone in this classroom, then the way in which you're trying to get them to comply can be self-defeating for some children. So it's not that I don't want them to comply at all. I do. The question is, how do I get them there?
Right, because I feel like this whole like behavior chart thing takes away the thinking aspect and the decision-making aspect. And I want the children to decide for themselves to follow within the boundaries of the rules. Not, I'm only doing this because I'll get a sticker. And I really have no idea why I'm doing it. I just know that if I do it, I will get a sticker.
So I think you've expanded on what we're saying by saying that they will only comply because they want some sort of prize.
Correct. And not internalizing the reasoning why we have the rules.
Which is moral development.
Yes.
Moral development comes under the same overall developmental domain as social emotional development. If you look at, there's a category called affective, AFF, affective. The affective domain. The affective domain includes social development, emotional development, and moral development. So those are all tied together. Right?
Right.
So I think what you're talking about creates moral development. I want to do things because it's the right thing to do.
Yes. Or it will help.
Yeah.
The greater good, the classroom. It'll help my classmates. It'll help me. It'll help the classroom as a whole. Not because I'm going to get a sticker. Just because then what happens when you take the stickers away? Say you've done that your entire school year.
And you run out of stickers?
Or you run out of stickers. Or they're moving to the next classroom and that person doesn't give out stickers. Now what?
Yeah. It's
you got to motivate them differently.
And I think that to go back to our original thoughts about this topic, I think that adults need to think about, what am I trying to do here?
Yes.
Am I trying to simply get the rules followed and have good behavior? Or am I trying to teach lessons that will transfer eventually to other social situations that children will find themselves in?
Right. Because when you wrote me saying, let's do it about feelings, I read it differently than I think the way you intended.
Well, how did you read it?
That it was the teacher's feelings, that the teachers want the children to comply so that they feel, wow, look how good of a classroom management I have. When the administration walks in, they're all sitting like little soldiers and it looks so good for me. And they'll do whatever I say. So I don't have to worry about anything.
Look, you're making my nose itch. I'm like, so your interpretation of that was,
are the feelings of the teacher
as a competent teacher?
Well, I'm just saying, do the feelings of some of the staff members, do they feel their feelings about things override the children's feelings?
I think we're getting into
a different topic,
maybe. A philosophical discussion.
Yes, but
because I think we all are self-protective over our feelings. And I think that we all, whether you are raising young children or you are teaching young children, in some ways question our own competence.
Correct. But me as a teacher, I feel better at the end of the day if I know, oh, I'm teaching them the social emotional stuff. And yeah, maybe they don't talk to me, maybe it wasn't the best day, but I know something good came out of that because we had this breakthrough somewhere else. And another teacher might say, oh, I'm leaving knowing I had a good day because everybody fell in line and look how many stickers they earned. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that that's what, but that's.
And if they all do fall in line, then that's a reflection on me and my abilities as an adult.
Yes.
It's possible.
Yes.
That people are continuing to do this sort of thing because it helps them to feel capable.
Yes.
So then it's whose feelings are we really focusing on? Because children need our guidance. Adults need to feel confident.
Yeah. But
I think that's a philosophical thing,
I know, right?
I feel like we're getting into philosophy.
Yeah.
I do think though it's, imposter syndrome is a really real thing among many professionals. Imposter syndrome is when you question your own expertise
and your own worth, right?
Well, I think it's like imposter syndrome is like, why are all these people listening to me and taking my advice?
That about this podcast. Look, I made something pop up there because I think I did something.
Oh, anyway, it's the camera. Go on.
I used to say that about this podcast because here's Cindy. I mean, very well known professional development consultant, and here's just lowly little me as a teacher. I used to think this all the time in the beginning. I don't think that now.
Okay, good.
In the beginning, I used to be like, oh my God, they're coming to the podcast, not for me. They're coming for her. I used to think this all the time, but Cindy's my good friend and we just kept doing it. And it was fun. And then eventually I was like, people would come up to me sometimes and be like, oh, you were so funny. Or like, they're like, you guys are such a good team and you guys have such good conversations. And I was like, yeah, because we're friends, but you're still here for her. But it wasn't true. Like people were like, no, it's both of you together. And it wasn't until somebody else said that I started to be like, oh, wait, it's me feeling like an imposter. And I'm not. Like I'm an expert in this too. We just have different takes on things because we have different roles. And like, but I totally get where people start feeling like, oh, I'm not an expert in this. I don't belong here.
So if they're feeling that imposter syndrome,
yeah,
what helps them to feel like, no, actually you are really good at this and you are worthy. It's the children falling in line.
But that's what's it's like so much of like, I think overcoming imposter syndrome comes externally. And that's where like, it's like people coming up to you and saying, oh, your classroom, like, seriously, or like, really good classroom skills, or getting a really good evaluation from your admin. And what are they scoring there? And it's like,
what?
I think that's the only way sometimes to overcome that.
Ultimately, it's okay if children struggle with behavior.
Yes.
It's normal.
Yes.
It's a part of early childhood. It should not be considered a reflection on the adults, not at this age anyway. And so when we do things to get them to comply because it's going to prove that we're good, that's a real issue.
It's like accepting who you are. Like I remember when I first started at the school I'm at now, like the woman who works across the hall for me is very more like into the schedule, like very like everything is very scheduled and very, I don't want to say strict because that's not true, but like different than me. And I'm very much like, it's true. And for a while I would compare myself to her and be like, wow, look at her class. Like it's so like on point and mine's like, But then I realized like, no, that's not who I am. I'm not that type of teacher. She is. And that's great that she is. There's kids that need her and there's kids that need me, and I'm not saying it's like wild in there, but like, it's also like more flexible, and
Right.
I think like, and that's just who I am as a person. I'm a flexible kind of person. I'm not like that. And I can't teach that way because I'm not her. And she can't teach my way because she's not me.
And either way, whether the children
yeah.
comply or not, and we stamp out behaviors without really teaching the children a lesson, that's still not a reflection on the adults. And but I can see how you're saying that adults' feelings about their own worth can be wrapped up in the behavior of the children. And so they stamp down on behavior in ways that are not necessarily positive discipline.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm glad we worked that all out. So really think about, we always try to give people something actionable or to think about or do. Really think about, when you see things having to do with children's behavior, who is that most about? And is it helping the social emotional development of children? Folks, I have seen some people who teach professional development sessions related to behavior, and I see what they're teaching and I think that is not teaching social emotional development. That is attempting to stamp something out in a way that's not actually teaching the children a life lesson. So I really want you to also,
it might teach them a life lesson, but not the one that
not the one I want, not the one I want. So really think about, is this teaching a lifelong skill and lesson? Because social emotional development is a lifelong skill.
Yes.
Okay. I feel good now. I feel good. You can check out our website, howpreschoolteachersdoit.com, our Facebook page, send us messages, check out the information on our website about the app that you can access us directly through, and we will catch you next time on the podcast.
Bye.